So here we see the deployment. We have essentially a small town. We're building everything in, and it's going to be a Viks versus Kirai battle report. More of the deployment there. These are our schemes. So we've got the 13 of Rams and the 2 of Tomes. I ended up choosing Power Ritual and Outflank. He ended up choosing Power Ritual, which he revealed, and Bodyguard for his Vik. Here's my crew. We're looking at 50 stones here. We have Azamu with the Aura of Decay, which prevents healing within a 4-inch aura. Lost Love is actually going to be the Grave Spirit. Kirai herself has 3 upgrades. Basically the Bloody Shears, the one that allows her to swirl Aether Spirits. Basically the 3 primary ones. We have also on Datsuiba the ability to heal spirits, Spirit Whispers, and we also have the immediate revenge one as well too, which, given the fact that we are playing Viks, I really didn't need, but I had a Soulstone to spare. We have Onryo, 2 of those, and 1 Shikome. So I'm a little bit outgunned here. I'm thinking that Azamu may not be the best choice, and I may choose a different model next time. Here we have his crew. Don't worry, that's not a Rasputina there. That's actually a free core librarian. We have Student of Conflict, both Viks, of course, Ronan, Vanessa, and Taylor. Pretty much straight out of the box, which he got at Gen Con. Well, I got at Gen Con and gave it to him. And then the free core, definitely a big help right there as well, too. Here's his deployment. We have Vanessa with the 3 Ronan there. And I believe that's Taylor as well, too. Then we have the Free Core Librarian, the Student of Conflict, and the 2 Viks. I have the Onryo and the Shikome move up to start trying to get to the Power Ritual area. My Datsuiba, Azamu, Grey Spirit, and Kirai actually are deploying in the back. And I have 1 Onryo to the left-hand side to get the left-hand corner. I figure that it'll pull the Viks towards him and away from my main crew, because he'll have to take care of that area there. The Ronin, Vanessa, etc. all move up. 2 Ronin actually head to the corner when I move aggressively with my Shikome that I've summoned to the corner as well, too. Here we have the beginning of the Sister Sling. The Student of Conflict has moved up and has pulled the Vik of Ashes, who will be soon pulling the Vik of Blood up and doing their 22-inch movement shenanigans up really soon. The Shikome, on the first turn, has gotten to that corner because the 12-inch summons away from Kirai, who's, of course, moved up with the into the spirit world before she summoned. So that's a huge distance she can move that first turn. Because, of course, she summoned with the Double Crow trigger, she took all the wounds, but negated some of it via Soulstone Flip, and moved that Shikome 12 inches up from her location. And then that Shikome was no longer affected by slow for that turn. So that's a huge movement on that first turn. Then we actually decided that, well, I have no valid targets for my make gaki power, which is a trigger off of the power that gives them adversary. So I decided to start casting on my own guys who were in danger close to some Ronin. And that worked out pretty well. I mean, you kill a model and then you get a model out of it. True, the model's not as powerful, but it takes a while to beat that one model down, and all of a sudden you've got another model in your face for essentially free. It's kind of nice, a little trick there. The Onryo is just staring down the Vik of Ashes, and vice versa. That Onryo does not have much left for the world. As I believe is still turn 1. Both of them have moved at that point. Alright, I think we're getting into turn 2 here. We have the Student of Conflict has moved up. Everyone's kind of moving in towards the center because this is also the Reckoning. She wants to start killing models as soon as possible. Well, Jeff does, that is. And so the Vik of Blood gets in with Zamu. Now, what you're not seeing is the Grave Spirit that used to be there. Zamu has armor, and has armor 4 because of the Grave Spirit. And of course, I've forgotten that the Viks really don't care about that because they're the mark of Sherazul, or however you pronounce that. And so armor is ignored. So she punched Zamu butt hard. He healed twice during my turn and then struck at her. Didn't hit her at all. So unfortunately, he did not do much to her. Part of my problem with the Zamu right now is because of all the other ignore armor and ignore this, ignore that capabilities from a lot of the heavy hitters from other squads. He's not pulling his weight, and he's not moving as fast as he needs to. Even with a relatively high defense and a lot of wounds and some good armor, he's still not really pulling it out. So I may choose a different model for him. Maybe a Hanged, because then at least it'll be a spirit, and it'll have more synergy with Kirai. There's the Grave Spirit / Lost Love, whatever else. I may actually go back with the Lost Love. Being able to heal twice is nice, and he's not as much of a target as the Grave Spirit, who gives out armor too. It's situational, but I'll play it by ear. And so Azamu also was marked with that feast trigger, and so when he died, a gaki pulled up in his place and was engaging both Taylor and also the Vik. Ashikome, I'm like, there's no way in heck she'll survive out there with 2 running by the ground. That's the one Shikome that actually I bought with the squad. So I flew her up on the roof where no one can get to her. It works. I can do that. She has flight. Why not? Another pick of her closer up. Oh, and my poor Onryo. I think we're actually on turn 3 at this point. And the Onryo got smashed by the Vik of Blood. Vik of Ashes, rather. That's just going to happen. Master with a 5-point model. You're just going to die. And, of course, she moved away and is about ready to kill off my scheme marker there. So Datsuiba and Agaki moved up to kill off the Student of Conflict and promptly died. In the background there, you'll see a hut. My Shikame had moved from the larger, taller building to that building there, and was on the roof, basically on the apex of the roof, and the Free Corps Librarian smashed her, destroyed her utterly in one turn of flurried casting. Pulled the Red Joker on damage. It was just really bad. And then a gaki popped out. So I was able to use that as a gaki delivery system. The gaki basically dropped on the other side of the roof. Vanessa and the Free Corps could not target the gaki because it was out of line of sight. And then the gaki moved to capture the one corner for the relic. So I had to get a victory point out of that. But Datsuiba and the gaki are no more, but became station. So that's all good. There's a picture of Datsuiba falling over. Let me tell you about Station. Oh my god. With the upgrade, I think it's Bloody Shears, which allows them, a Spirit Anchor, which allows them to be sacked, basically kept around if Kirai takes a wound. If you have a low mass card in your hand and Station around you, which, why not? You create them. And they're all good. She just can't die. He came in with Vanessa, and Jeff started to say he's going to cast the trigger that does 4 damage in a burst, double burst. And before his action started, I then used the kill the pulse thing from the station. Kirai took a wound to save the station from being sacrificed. Then he hit Kirai with the ability. I had a low mask in my hand. I cheated it in. I said, that's target cessation. And he said, okay, does 2 points of damage. That's great. I take a point of damage on Kirai because it transfers out to station, and Kirai saves the station. Really, that Spirit Anchor power is amazing, and I had no idea how good it was until I played this game. I think it's almost kind of a little bit broken, making how utterly easy it is to surround her with that stuff, make her immune to blasts, and you can't reach her because the station are in the way. And you try and kill the station, she just takes a wound, they're still there. And if she doesn't want to take the wound, she kills the station off instead. It's ridiculous and beautiful, and the way she should work. I don't know if there needs to be an adjust to that or not, but they may have to look at that. And then there's the Ronin, I believe. That's actually the Vik of Ashes in our corner. Pretty much guaranteeing my doom for Power Ritual. I'm not going to be able to get it. And I think very shortly after this, I think pretty much right about here, is when I shook Jeff's hand and called it a day. I think the game went very well. I just think I got some really unfortunate card hands, and I was still playing with my strategy where the Viks are much more straightforward. I believe that Azamu is too large of an investment, that I'm going to try a Hanged next time and see how that works instead, given their incorporealness, their ability to be a huge threat, and the fact that they're cheaper. I mean, 11 points will get me a Hanged, and it'll give me the Hanged with the Aura of Decay, which is what I had on Azamu. And quite frankly, I think that's far scarier than Azamu at this point, given the resilience that Incorporeal gives you. And that's my thoughts. I had an unfortunate loss. I think if we wouldn't have settled it, I mean, he won by at least a good 2 points. It was a great game. Took a little bit longer than I would have liked because we're both kind of new to those crews. But I think all in all, it was a nice game. I was glad to play it. Have a good one.